this is just a disclaimer for this video. Everything I'm saying in this video is my own personal experience. Never take anything I say as medical advice. I'm not an MD, I'm not a DO. Go see a doctor, go see your dermatologist. That's like, I feel like without need to say. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Dina. I've been creating lifestyle videos, vlogs, beauty, fashion, etc. But today I want to talk about something that is a little more real and a struggle that I had been dealing with for years. I think on social media, you just kind of see the best sides of people, especially with, you know, like cameras that have filters and makeup and everything. But guys, acne is real and acne is no joke. I truly know that. It might not look like it right now because there is this filter on my camera and I'm kind of finally seeing the other end of just kind of my acne journey. So I just kind of wanted to share my experience with acne, what I've done treatment wise and what has actually helped me. Also just to let you know that like acne is normal. I feel like it's not normal to have perfect skin. I feel like the end goal is not to have perfect skin, but just to like get to a place where you truly feel confident in yourself. And of course, just to make sure that you are the healthiest version of yourself. Without further ado, before we get into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And you know, like this video if you like it, gain something beneficial. Let's get into today's video. So before I jump into kind of the meat of today's video, I just want to make a disclaimer that right now I do not have any like face acne covering makeup on. All I have on is a little bit of mascara, a little bit of blush because I was just looking extra pale today, and just some like lipstick and lip gloss. I purposefully didn't wear makeup because I wanted to give you guys very like raw image of where I'm at today. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, I've gotten to a place where I'm so happy. First thing I kind of wanted to touch on when it comes to acne and my acne journey is kind of like my genetic family history and when I first started seeing acne on myself. I feel like genetic family history is the main predictor. It's the main thing you can't control and you just have to accept it. My parents dealt with acne throughout their lives, and so although they gave me all these great features and, you know, alhamdulillah for everything, I also got my acne through my genetic family tree. The first time I went to a dermatologist to, you know, kind of treat my acne was when I was 15, I think. I just kind of had like some generalized acne throughout my face. And so I guess throughout high school, I saw a dermatologist a few times and it wasn't a very like long-term treatment looking back. Like they would prescribe me an antibiotic and some topicals. I think just as a teenager, not being a very consistent person, I wouldn't really keep up with the acne cream. I would forget to take the antibiotics, but you know, at the time, again, it wasn't like super severe. So the things that the dermatologist prescribed, I mean, they kind of worked for the time being, and I also kind of didn't care. And then I started to notice that it got a little bit worsened, I think the summer going into my senior year of high school. And so I will insert pictures of kind of my journey where I was at in each point I'm talking about. I started to notice it on my cheeks, so I was like, you know what, we need to do something about this. That summer, saw a dermatologist again, and I actually kind of started consistently using the topical creams. I believe they had prescribed me like a benzoyl peroxide and an epiduo, and it definitely helped my skin. Again, I was not very consistent for a long time. I would only use the creams like if I had an active acne spot. Kind of went on like that for maybe like 2 or 3 years. Even though I had like acne, my skin was never clear. It didn't bother me. Fast forward, you know, my first 2 years of college, like I had some face spots, but I didn't really care that much about them. I don't really know why. My older sister also had acne and she had gone through Accutane. So I was like, oh, you know, I'm not as bad as she was, so it's fine, whatever. Fast forward to COVID. This is when my skin started to get pretty bad, and I will insert pictures here. I feel like it was kind of a combination of things as to what led my skin to get to this point. I mean, first of all, I think it was just the stress of COVID and the pandemic. Like, let's be real. I was really stressed out about the uncertainty of the future, and I just don't think I was taking as good of care of myself. I think that I just wasn't eating the best. My sleep schedule was a little off. Basically, I feel like through all the years of me not being consistent, my skin finally was like, I'm gonna have my true breakout moment. I was like, okay, I think we need to like really get on something consistent. I went to the same dermatologist that I went to in high school. I remember like going in there, I had a list of questions on my phone and I felt so rushed during the appointment. The dermatologist was in the room for maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. I didn't even get to ask any of my questions, and I got prescribed the same topical creams that I had in high school. At this point, I was very like, you know what? Like, this is the trained doctor. I'm just going to listen to him. I just took charge and I was like, I'm going to be so consistent with this skincare routine. And so I used the creams as prescribed. I used them daily. I took my meds. And I think another thing that also kind of helped my skin was just getting a lot of exercise in. I don't know, when you sweat, I almost feel like you're getting rid of a lot of those like nasty toxins and letting your skin kind of just like air out. Maybe just a combination of all these different things led my skin to, at the time, being the best it was. I mean, I was so, even though my skin had improved, I was still consistently using topical creams. Then about a year later, in the spring of 2021, I'm being so specific with dates because like, I don't know, I just like associate things in my life happening with very specific dates, so that's why, whatever. I started to notice that like there was a very specific spot, like I think right here, where I was getting some like really stubborn acne and just like redness. Yeah, that came and I was like, oh, maybe it's just like a little hormonal change, weather change, like let me just keep using my creams. But it really wasn't going away. So I was like, you know what? Time to see the dermatologist again. It's been about a year. At this point in my acne journey, family members had been kind of telling me for a little bit now, like, Dina, just go on Accutane. I always had this idea in my head that my acne really wasn't that bad. Like, yes, it bothered me. Yes, there was some like pretty stubborn spots on my face, but I always associated Accutane with like people who have it all over their face, neck, chest, back. I was like, that's just not me. I told the dermatologist that. She even like brought it up to me at our first appointment, like, you know, Accutane is always an option, but she almost recommended like, let's start with like something different from the topicals you've been using, but not so intense as going on Accutane. She prescribed me 2 new topical creams. One of them was like a foam. It was like a yellowish foam. I was on those creams like all summer, and then we hit the fall time and I'm like, maybe it's gone better, but if anything, I just feel like it's been maintained. My dermatologist then, you know, talks about how there's been studies about how one of these medications, which is spironolactone, you know, proven to be really effective with treating acne. The reason why I'm talking about like medical grade acne treatments and medications is because I want to share my experience, not because I think you should try to go on these yourself. I think you should go see a doctor. She tells me like this has been really effective, and I was like I'm down, like, you know, it's not as intense as Accutane, but it has like these great results according to studies. So she warned me about certain things like you'll probably pee a lot and you just need to make sure you're drinking enough water so that you don't get dehydrated. That's like the one thing that made me nervous, just kind of the side effect. Of course, you know, she had to make sure that certain levels of mine were fine, as with any medication. And I remember like kind of in the middle of the winter time, like going into 2022, I had these insane like cravings for tomatoey based soup. And I was like, this is so weird because like, why am I craving kind of like such a salty thing when she said this medication might make me more thirsty, if anything. I just wanted to share that because I just thought that was an interesting side effect. And I was still on the 2 topical creams, or 1 or 2 of them that she had prescribed me earlier that summer. Rolling around to January, February, like not one thing had improved with my skin. And like, granted, she said it could take a few months, like maybe 3 months you should be noticing some changes, but it had already been like 4 months and I was like, my acne is the same, if not worse. Like, I would say this is my lows with my acne journey that I had felt. Like, I was feeling really defeated. Like, I had been putting in all this work, seeing the dermatologist so many times. I think kind of the kicker to all of this is that I had my wedding coming up that summer. So I felt like I had this time crunch of like 5 to 6 months to get my skin better. I was like, this is it. I am starting acne, or not starting acne. I am starting Accutane. And my doctor was in full agreement, and I will like reiterate this throughout the video. Get on Accutane. Like, I mean, talk to your doctor, but if you have been dealing with acne for years, and even if it's not the most stubborn kind, get on Accutane. Scientifically the closest thing to a cure for acne. And it's like, what better thing can you ask for, honestly? And I feel like my only regret throughout this whole process was not starting Accutane sooner. The timeline was February, I decided I was going to start Accutane. But in order to do that, I had to get like multiple urine tests to ensure that there's no chance that I was pregnant, because if any of you aren't aware, if you get pregnant on Accutane, it is very, very dangerous, especially if you are expecting a baby boy. There was about like a month buffer time to when I could actually start Accutane. Every month I would have to get these urine and blood tests. Another thing that I had to do was to make sure I took my dosage on a full stomach. My doctor said in order for like most of the medication to get absorbed, it's really important that you have some healthy fats that you ate beforehand. I believe I started off on like around 20 milligrams a day, and then we picked that up to like 60 eventually. I started it at the end of March, so let's just count April, May, June, September, October. Girl, about 8 months. And like, I will insert like my skin of when I first got on Accutane versus like what it looks like when I got off of it versus what it looks like now. I did take monthly progress photos of my skin, but I honestly stopped taking them after I think July, because at that point I was happy with where my skin was at. So when I got on Accutane in March, I was expecting maybe like after 2 months I would notice a difference, not anything crazy, but at least a difference. And I felt like it was taking me a while to even notice anything. Until about like the end of May. Maybe I started to notice it's like smoothing down, but there's still a lot of redness. This was the type of acne, it's not just like a little zit, like it hurts. That is one of the more like psychologically hard parts of having like cystic acne, is that when you like lay on your bed at night, like your cheek hurts. It was just really, really hard, but I stayed very consistent. I kept making dua, honestly. And I was so determined to improve my skin by like my wedding time that I was like, you know what? Like, it's chop time. Like, we need to clean up our diet, we need to exercise, we need to sleep, we need to drink water. And also, side effects of Accutane, I mean, your skin is so dry. I remember like my arms had like these bumps on it. My hands would have like dry bumps. My lips, oh my god, guys, the lips were so bad. Eyes were so dry. I really didn't let the dryness affect me too much, because the dryness almost showed me like, hey, my body's absorbing this and it's gonna work. Alhamdulillah, I feel like around end of June, early July, I was pretty confident with where my skin was at. And you know, just by the time like all my wedding events came up, acne was not one of my insecurities. Even though my skin got better, I was like, girl, I'm not stopping until we're done with this whole course. I would still notice, you know, a little bit of acne here and there. And so my dermatologist and I were like, until we don't see acne anymore, we're going to continue this. Finally, around end of October, early November, I stopped. It was just such a relief. I felt like I had gone through war. I know that sounds dramatic, but I literally felt like that. Ever since then, I have not been on any acne treatments. Of course, I do get breakouts here and there, but like, once you've been through kind of the cystic acne journey, like a few breakouts here and there really don't bother me. I swear by CeraVe products. I mean, I use the hydrating foaming cleanser day and night. If not, I use my Tula facial cleanser, and I recently got the Youth to the People face cleanser because it's good at removing makeup, and I know it has very like natural ingredients. I just feel like you need to be very aware of what products you're putting on your face, nothing with harsh chemicals or lots of fragrances, perfumes. And I use the CeraVe moisturizing lotion in the morning alongside my Ulta MD sunscreen. I've also heard and have seen that it really helps protect from acne scarring. Ulta MD is really good because it's made for sensitive skin and it's made by MDs. And then when it comes to kind of my diet and my lifestyle, I definitely notice that I just feel greasier. My pores look bigger when I'm eating very greasy food, lots of sugars. And one of the top pieces of advice that I have is consistency. Things don't happen overnight. If anyone knows that, I know that, because I struggled for a good year before I really saw any results. I feel like my number one piece of advice is, if you are struggling with acne and you've, done a lot of personal research, you've tried different, over-the-counter products. Honestly, and to each their own, I would just save your money and skip trying the over-the-counter products. And I say that especially for the people who have like cystic, under the skin acne. Like honestly, just go see the dermatologist. I know it's not always the most convenient, insurance is annoying, and I understand all of that. I just feel like from my experience, from people who I know's experience, medical grade topicals, medications, like those are gonna be the best. They're gonna be the safest. With everything in this video, please just don't take it as me giving you medical advice. Anything lifestyle I say, I feel like that is what you can take. It feels really good to kind of share this with you guys. I feel like it's a part of me on social media that not many people would know about. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you feel heard and that you're not alone. And if you have any questions at all, any thoughts, comments, leave them down below. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye everyone.